So USPS lost my oil filter for the motorcycle. I was supposed to have it installed just a couple days ago when I originally started the videos on it, but that didn't happen. So now I tore it apart. So it's still sitting here without an oil filter. And I used to have the Zumo XT, and I got the Zumo XT2, and there are some differences. You can look online and see the videos that show what the differences are, but shame on Garmin for the way they did this. I'll go over the issues I had with the XT and the XT2 and how they wanted to handle the situation. I did end up with some scratches on my tank over here on the side, and originally when I got the bike I put matte black plasti dip on it to protect it, and I should have left it on there. I took the plasti dip off and rode it as is with the original triple black paint job, and I ended up with scratches on that top side here. Irritated the snot out of me. So since I'm waiting on my oil filter, I decided to rewire my XT to the XT2, because the XT has 2 pins and for charging, and the XT2 has 3 pins. So that's one of the differences in the two. Also, if you're going to wire up a phone charger and a GPS, you can go in here to this 12-volt socket, take off your front cowl. You're going to want to actually remove these two so that you can pull this fully out. I took a block of wood like this and I wedged it underneath there so I had room to work, but you can tap into the 2 wires for that 12-volt. You don't have to run things to the battery like I did. When I tried to run things to the battery from up here all the way down the side, it was catching interference, electrical interference in the wires, and causing my video cameras that I have on the front and back. So I have dash cams for the front and back, and it was causing electrical interference. So I had to change the routing on where those went. This now comes over here on this side, but taking the tank off was the best option. You have to take your digital cluster off, take out your 1 bolt here, and then the bolt on the back side here. There is a Allen bolt that goes up into your tank, and I'll show this up through here, and you have to undo that. That's a pain in the butt, because I didn't have a way to get up underneath there, so it was just a tedious Allen wrench to turn, quarter turn, quarter turn, quarter turn. Yeah, it sucked. If you got a tool that you can ratchet or something like that, that'd be best. Otherwise, you're gonna have just an Allen wrench to take it off. But getting back to this, it's best if you wire it into the 12-volt, and you don't have to run all the wires down through. I'll end up zip tying these up. This mount allows me to rotate whichever way I want. Get under there, wire it up through that. I took off the Triumph logos off my tank. I'm not a big logo fan, so now that's bare. I also, at some point, I took these off. These are pretty easy and simple to take off, and I painted those up black along with the radiator cap, the gas cap, and the oil cap. And I also did this. Originally I painted that with high heat paint, but the gasoline took it off real easy. So plasti dip seems to hold up pretty well. We'll see how it goes. For the 3 bolts on the oil pan, it is a number 8 Allen. I just happen to have a socket version, but it's easier to take off this way. Using an Allen wrench seems to be more difficult. You don't get as much leverage. So if you can get a socket, and go that route. If you're going to do your own oil change, always reference the manual. When you look at the manual, reference this V-shaped piping here, and you'll see that there's a bolt that goes, yeah, there we go. There's a bolt that goes here, here, and here. So if you reference this V-shaped piping in those spots, there, there, and there. So the last people to do the oil change on my bike was a dealership, and that's because it was still under warranty, and I wanted to follow the policies. When I went to go take this oil filter off, I couldn't get it off. I tried 3 different oil filter wrenches, and it didn't work. I ended up taking a screwdriver, puncturing it like 3 or 4 times, and had to get it off that way. If you're having problems getting your oil filter off, you're going to replace it anyway. Don't hesitate to throw a screwdriver in there and get it twisted off. Just be careful where you're puncturing it. You don't want to damage anything. I didn't go all the way through. I just went through the side and twisted it off that way. Again, with your crush washers, I've read online in different forums and that a lot of people don't replace their crush washers. I happen to have a bag of 25, so I replace mine anyway. These are the old ones. You don't necessarily need one of these low profile oil pans. It makes it a lot easier because it covers pretty much the entire underside of the bike. So when you take off those 3 bolts and you go to take off the oil filter, it catches it. You don't have to move the oil pan around. So it was $25-30 on Amazon. I recommend it. But yeah, so I'm waiting on my Triumph, my replacement Triumph oil filter, because the Wix one didn't work. I went to the Wix website to find the oil filter that worked for my bike, and this is what they recommended. And I get it. I install it. I tried closing it up, but I couldn't close the lower cowl there. And that's because it's taller. So now it's going back. Yeah, would you look at that? Raise a little cane with a USPS and they find your package. That's the old one. It didn't want to come out very easily, so I used a screwdriver to get some leverage, puncture it. And this is the replacement. Alright, to remove your tank, before you can take it off the bike, you have to undo this plug that is directly underneath the tank. You have to pull off the fuel line, and there is a hose that connects onto here. So you have to take those 3 things off before you can pull your tank completely out. Of course, along with the bolt there and the one that's down here. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about here. This bolt to get this strap off. I don't think I got anything that will fit in there, so it's kind of just quarter turn, and it sucks. I'm gonna see if I can't find something better to use. But yeah, that and the bolt there. And there we have it. She needs to be washed because I still got her dirty. Lots of sweat. It's over 95 degrees out here, so I'm dripping sweat all over this thing. But Yeah, it's just Plasti Dip. I took the Triumph emblems off, and again I did the caps, and I did the side marker here. This was silver, but yeah, she's back together. Oil change done, tank paint done, Plasti Dip, whatever you want to call it. That's her. Always remember, be blessed and stay tuned.
There are S7 protocols, okay?
Triple black is back. Oops. Dress appropriately. There's a good reason for that. Honestly, I never have had this issue of putting something in a hole. Stay tuned.